Renfroe here with you, and as always, I'm excited about doing these videos and that you've tuned in and you come to my channel and this and especially this particular video. I mean, I'm excited mostly always to do my videos, but this one I'm talking to one that really means a lot to me. The title of this one is well, I've got 5 to 7 reasons to listen to Christian music, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get them into I might kind of just put this into 5. But right now, yeah, so I don't know what's going to be on the title. So whatever it is you've seen on the title, that's so many reasons it is that I have to listen to Christian music. And Christian music has been such a powerful kind of lifeline in my life in the last few years. And so I'm excited about talking about it. And so I decided to do this video to list the numbers of reasons of why I listen to Christian music and why I would encourage others to do that too. So, I mean, here's your reasons why to listen to Christian music. And so before I kind of get into them, I just want to tell you, like, yeah, I'm saying it's like a real lifeline to me. I mean, Jesus is my life that has kept me going these last few years since our tragedy of losing our son in 2017. But music, Jesus through the music is really what kept me going. And then prayer as well. And it's funny because I've just recently was asked to do a talk on communicating with God. And at first I was kind of thinking, hope is my theme. Hope is my thing. Like, how could I talk on something else like prayer? But then I realized, hey, but prayer has played a very special place in my life. And that subject is very dear to me. And I've come up with this talk for that. And this little message for communicating with God. And that has been my lifeline, that has kept me going through our loss. And if it wasn't for that strong link and line of communication, I don't know where I'd be today, how I would have got through. So prayer, and maybe we'll be doing a video on that. And then music played a big role and just keeping me going. And so, yeah, that's going to be in these reasons. So we will get right into this. Well, just a quick kind of note, actually, before I get started into my reasons, is that at the end, I'm doing a bonus of 20 songs that really helped me coping with grief and loss and kept me going. I'm going to list out 20 songs, or about 18 songs, and then 2 particular music artists that they have a variety of songs that I would listen to. And so I'm going to put that in the end, and then I'm going to do I'll upload that video all by itself too. So it'll be this video, 20 songs that helped me or kept me going through our grief and loss. So that a resource for someone going through that. And these songs really helped me. I'll talk about that more, how powerful they really were. And I will be covering some of that in here, but then I'm listing the songs. So I'm going to have that kind of a bonus at the end as well as my reasons. All right, I'll get going. All right, number 1 reason to listen to Christian music, for encouragement and inspiration. So I wanted to share that one first, right off, that how powerful they were in my life after losing our son, and just the inspiration they gave me and the hope. And the songs that I really went for was the ones that was written by music artists that had gone through either a loss or tragedy or difficult seasons and things in their life. And when I found out they had, then it just put a whole new meaning to the songs. I mean, it already had a message of its own. Really great songs, and the storyline or the message that was in there, and their adoration to God, and just pouring out their heart to God, just you are still good, even if when they went through things. And those are the songs I really went for, and they just really spoke to me, because I knew they knew what they were talking about when they said going through being in the midst of the storm and walking through these tragedies. And I'm like, they know because I know their story. And so that was really nice. And so these songs, I would just have them playing in the house a lot and fairly loud, because then I could sing along to them. And I would just, I would have a little speaker that I could maybe carry to different parts of the house. So wherever I'm going, I'm carrying this music, the speaker, and I'm just singing along to these songs. It didn't matter that I didn't, didn't know the tune, but boy, they gave life to me. And at the end, when I talk about the 20 songs that helped, but just certain ones, it was like the praising him for who he is, even when we're in the midst of this trying thing, in the midst of the fire, still saying that you're good and and that you're there for me. That's what kept me going for sure. And now, since I still love these songs, and it's funny that I have kind of my favorites, and I come across some more, I'm like, oh, now this is a song I'm going to be playing all the time. So it kind of, through the years, the 4 years since losing our son, then that's when, that's when these songs really came to mean something to me. And there's different ones that I'm listening to now that I didn't listen to then because it was newer ones, and the ones I listened to then I'm not really listening to all the time, but they're still that special thing. They held a special place in my life. And when I listen to these songs, they give me such hope that, like, there is hope for my dreams. I just feel, I feel like almost anything is possible when I hear these songs, and I'm just like, wow, it's giving life to my dreams, the desires I have in my heart to be a witness, more of a witness, and to be out there more as a speaker. And in my books, in the latest book I wrote about our story, Holding On to Hope, and when I hear these songs, and I'm just filled with that, like, yeah, I'm gonna be able to go do this, and it's far kind of under my dreams more, and so that's, they give me hope and inspiration. So I think big reason to listen to Christian music. And number two, a form of worship. So music is a form of worship. And certainly I think when we think of the praise and worship songs, definitely, because we do that out of worship and adoration to God, but they're certainly not the only form of worship. But they're one way of pouring out what's on our heart, and pouring out our praise, and glorifying and honoring God, through our words. It comes from our heart and with our lips. But worship is definitely, that's not the only form of worship. Worship is a life lived for God. And he says, you can honor me with your lips, but your heart is far from me. And there was definitely people through the time that was doing that. They'd honor him with their lips, and their heart was far from him. So the worship can't only be from song and praying and praise, but it's got to be that life lived out every day, daily for God, and that heart that loves him with all our heart, soul, and mind, and a life that is living. That's true worship right there. When every day you're living your life for God, and you're laying down yourself, your own selfish desires and wants, and you're focusing on the things of God, and being kingdom focused and mission minded, or and that we're here and what is our purpose. So just remembering, hanging on to what is our purpose here, and that is definitely a form of worship. But there's nothing like singing to God and those praises. So again, when I'd have these songs playing in the house, and could just sing along, and I was just worshiping God and for who he is, and he's great, and that he had carried me through our tough time, and it was just really, really special. And so my number three, my third reason for listening to Christian music, brings God's presence into the home. There's really, not a better way that brings God's presence into the home than having that praise and worship music going, or whatever the kind of Christian music. So many versions of Christian music, more the modern Christian music or older classics, whatever form that you like. It brings his presence in, and just really makes a good and pleasant, pleasing atmosphere in the home when we have it going. It can sets a mood, and sets our hearts to sing, and our feet to dancing when we have this music on. And so it just really sets an atmosphere in the home that would normally without this music. So I've just totally, that is one big reason that I want it. And for my children, so they get that habit of listening to good godly music, and it'll set them a habit for their entire lives. So it means a lot. And I think that's why you've got to start when your family is young, and start early by having this Christian music, and so that it gives them this diet for good godly music that honors him and glorifies our Heavenly Father. Number 4, pouring value into our children. And so I kind of covered that already a bit in number 3, but I just thought I'd go ahead and mention that, and it just, putting good things in their mind and keeping out trash. If you're only allowing Christian music in your home and only this good music that is glorifying and honoring to God, then that's keeping out all this other stuff. They don't need to listen to that other music. I didn't know how in depth I would go on that part in this one, but I was convicted of like the world of music, the kind of music that you hear just on the regular radio stations a number of years ago when my oldest now was just fairly young, all just 3 at the time, pretty little, and that's when I first became convicted because they were old enough to hear different things, and I'm like, man, I really don't want them hearing that. And here they are, they enjoy the music and dancing around to this music that was just crazy nonsense, wasn't honoring God. And I realized, we're to honor God in everything, that we listen to, we put in our minds and our hearts and our that we watch. Everything needs to be honoring and glorifying to God. And it just hit me like, what am I doing with this crazy music? So there's no more, no other music was allowed in our house except for Christian. We had the Christian radio station, KVNE, in our local area here of Texas, which you can actually listen to anywhere in the world. When we went up to Alberta, Canada, we also, my oldest son, he's the one that always is the one to put music on in our house. When he comes here now from camp where he's working, and I love music. Like I said, I try to have it part of every day, but sometimes I just get busy and I forget to put on music, and then pretty quick here he's got some going. I'm like, oh yay, I can, I'm cooking and doing stuff. Hey, I got this music going, and we have the same taste, the songs that we like and the Christian music. So that's good. Okay, so yeah, I was convicted at when the children were fairly little, and so we don't allow any other music in this house, and so like I can already mention number 3, it just it established that diet or whatever for that music right when they were fair little then, and and so when we go in the vehicle, same thing, it's only Christian station on. I don't allow the other one, and they know it's not allowed, and they don't care. They love it, and they also want to glorify God and everything that they hear. Yeah, it pours value. We do have to watch, I think, with even what might fall under the Christian category, though. I mean, from music. So just make sure it matches up, to what we're supposed to be. Yeah, putting on what is it teaching in the Word, so it's not going against any values. I'm not really familiar with other Christian music that it seems like all good that we've had, the Christian music, praise and worship and stuff. So just to make sure it's all good, but it's not going to be that crazy stuff that you hear on the radio, and especially it's getting worse and worse now. And the only times that I ever end up listening to any other stations is when I go into certain doctor's offices and stuff, and they have that on, and I end up having to hear it. I am shocked. I'm just like, holy, is that like the regular, or is that like extreme crazy station they got on? But I guess it's the regular. It's what's out there now, and it's awful. So that's why we do Christian music for. Okay, number 5 reason for listening to Christian music, and it's funny, this one I actually already kind of covered in the other ones as well. But I was gonna give the reason of like why I listen to Christian music only. So that was kind of my reason. I ended up consolidating some of these reasons. So I had that as number 7, but it's actually number 5 on the list the way I'm going. So the reason to listen to Christian music only. So why to listen and why instead of any other music is just because, like I mentioned, because we're to honor God in everything that we listen to and see and watch and do. So I'd like to throw a challenge, to you on the Christian radio station that we listen to. I mentioned KVNE for our area has a 30-day challenge going on right now, I believe it is, and they challenge their listeners to listen to Christian music for those 30 days. And so I guess what they're hoping is that you do it for 30 days straight and you'll be hooked. And that's where I want to challenge you to. 30 days for straight Christian music only in your music. So when you're in the vehicle, you turn on the station, turn it to your Christian one only, or however device how you do, or at home, turn it on, Christian music only, or your CDs, and do that for 30 days straight, and you're listening, and then just take it from there for a lifetime commitment, and you won't regret it. even if you feel like you're kind of missing some other music you might have once enjoyed, maybe that we don't do the things we do, we're not really doing it for ourselves, we're doing it to honor God. And you can say, well, I'm doing it for God. It says all that we do for the glory of God. And so if this is new for you to suddenly to laying down that, well, we got to put off more and more of this world. So maybe this is something for this year. If you got my video for the year, was kind of like doing new things this year. This is a new year. Let's think of new things to do, like for evangelism for God, I had mentioned. But like this, if this is something new, well, here you go. This is something new for you to do this year. Then is to put off all the other music. No other station but Christian, and for Christian music, a CD, and in your home or however you listen, or on your phone. I listen to a lot of music on my phone. I have Spotify, and then YouTube Music app, and then just on YouTube too. That's how I listen to a lot of my music that I'm talking about. I just do on there. So start with like 30 days and just go from there. And I am glad. On my notes here, it says it's been 15 years now that I gave up all the other music, and I am so thankful, so grateful. I don't know where I would be, if I was still had been listening to that, or my kids, because I would have all these kids now. We're expecting our 10th, and so for my oldest is 21 on down. I'm sure I would have different of them hooked on these different songs. And what can I do if I'm allowing, if I'm doing it? What can I say about it? I might say, hey, that song is not good, but you can't say much against something that you're doing. So I am so glad that I weeded that out way back, and now I can get, I expect them to live up to that standard while they're in our home, and after they leave, they have to make the choice whether they're going to honor God and everything that they do. But yeah, no, they totally respect that, and that's all they want. They don't want the trash, not for a second. And so, I'm just glad I have made that. So I want to challenge you for this reason. And, it's not only Christian music, but Christian music only. And it just keeps our mind from being polluted with the junk and the things of the world. You don't have that in your mind. Like way back, my husband is on board as well, but way back, and I could tell when I had switched over myself and was like, nope, Christian music only. When I hear something coming on, I'm like, I don't think that's Christian. Nope. And so when he would come from back home from driving and stuff, and driving truck, and he would say this, like someone going through it, he'd say it, and I'm like, hey, you've been listening to the other station. You haven't been listening to Christian music, have you? I could tell, because the thing he said came from those other songs. And that's the thing, we get those things in our head. It's easier to put it up there than it is to take it out. But once you start listening to the Christian music, then you have these Christian things going through your head. And wow, it's neat, the things like one song just recently, this is how I fight my battles. I don't know the name of something. I love that. What was the other part of that song? That it was just like, that's cool. That's what I want going through my head, and the ones of glorifying and honoring God. And I love all those little kid songs too. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine. Those are the things I want going through my head. I've got love like an ocean, I've got love like an ocean. I love the little kid songs, and that's what I want through my head. I don't want the dumb, crazy stuff that you hear on the other stations. And so that is why we listen to Christian music only. So we have those good things in our mind, and the resources that we can pull and to speak hope and to speak life into someone's life is because of the songs because of what we get in our mind. So we're to think on whatsoever is lovely, whatsoever is pure, whatsoever is good report. That's in Philippians 4:8, what we're to think on. So that's the music we got to be listening to if we're going to have that. We're going to have that in our minds and ready to share. And the songs, are just so full of praise, and they just, like I said, they put they get me singing. I can't have no music on without singing, and I get to digging, and it just is like, it gives hope to my dreams. It's so exciting. Alrighty, ready for my 20 songs that kept me going after my loss. The 20 songs that just give me that hope and inspiration that I really love. And there might be other ones that I would hear at that time, but the one I wrote down, the ones like I hear a song, I'm like, Nathan, and that's my little son, what is the name of that song? Because he was the one that was getting the music on. So right, I don't, how old would he be been? We lost 16, I think. And so he was really where he was putting on the music himself, getting the Christian music, that he just had a love for that just as much as I did. And he'd get these songs on. And another one I'd hear, hey, that one's talking about somebody going through a storm, or someone that went through a loss. And I'm like, what is the name of that song? And I started making myself a song list because I knew when I started having this message in my heart that I wanted to be able to go share somewhere. The title of my message at the time was Finding Peace in the Midst of Your Storms. I said, I want to have a list of songs that either will play when I do that talk, the message, or I can just maybe tell them about these songs that really helped me, was powerful in my life. So I would write them down. So I've got my list of 20 songs, and mostly I'm just gonna say the name of the song and the music artist, but and my go into a little detail on some, and then saving my two kind of names that I'm going by for the very last. All right, so here we go. And they're not really. This is not in order like to my most favorite to no, just sporadically wrote down. I Have the Storm by Ryan Stevenson. Just Be Helped by Casting Crowns. And I do have kind of a story behind this one, but I'll see if I have time at the end of this or just, I'm going to keep going. Praise You in the Storm, Casting Crowns. Joy of the Lord, Ring Collective. Love that one. It Is Well With My Soul, Joy and Roy, by Joy and Roy, or Chris Rice as well. I like it of his. I Am Not Alone, Carrie Job. And I must say, this one, my really good friend sung a portion of this song. I'd never heard of the song before. Sang a portion at the funeral. Wow, so good. She sung that song, If I'm Not Alone. So good. His Eye Is on the Sparrow, Newsboys. Just Give Me Jesus by Unspoken, or Jeremy Camp sings Just Give Me Jesus too. My Lighthouse, Ring Collective. There's a Light, Todd Smith. I love this one. There's a light at the end of the trouble. A new twist on it. Great Are You, Lord by Casting Crowns. Where am I? You Keep Hope Alive, Phyllis Craig and Dean. Hope Returns by Matthew West. Amadiel, I think is the name of that. Still My God by Ryan Stevenson. You can look that up. It's Still My God. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Where am I? Close to Your Heart. I don't think I have a name for that. And my latest two that I've added to the list is The Wound Is Where the Light Comes In and Stolen by Jason Gray. So those are so neat. The Wound Is Where the Light Comes In by Jason Gray and Stolen. It's talking about going through tragedy and all that. Those are so good. So I would recommend you looking them up. So I've said the names. Hope maybe I can put a list of these songs on the description. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to manage that or not. But I kind of gave you a list. So I'll try to give you some resources. Maybe over my website and blog and then my son has a list. He has a playlist. So maybe I can just link to that somehow and you can access my son's playlist that he's got. It's called the Rainy Day playlist. So he has a lot more songs in there too, just for going through hard times. These are the ones that these are the ones that I was singing along to. And we would just play them kind of over and over, several times in maybe one day, but just every day I would have these songs on. All right, so two of my music artists that I really enjoyed several of their songs was Jeremy Camp and Stephen Curtis Chapman, because Stephen Curtis Chapman had lost a little girl back so many years ago. He had lost a little girl, and I found out just right after our loss. Someone told me because he had a book, and they lent me a book, two books of theirs, by him and his wife. And so I read these two books just following right after, and then started looking up Stephen Curtis Chapman's music. And boy, several songs just really spoke to me because he lost her, and I knew he had walked this road. I knew these songs, and that was coming out of his heart. He knew what it was like to be there and to walk that, and he's still praising God. Okay, so here is a few of those songs by him. It's off the album called Beauty Will Rise. So C, a song called C, and then Beauty Will Rise. Okay, that's maybe just the two names I have on there, but there's several more on that album, Beauty Will Rise. You can just look that up on YouTube or wherever you probably listen to music. Just look up Beauty Will Rise by Stephen Curtis Chapman, and that is the album that holds all the songs that he wrote just right after his loss, and some of them were just in his rawest instead of just days or weeks. Like he got into a studio and started, because that's how he poured out. That's how he released himself and received healing, and that was from pouring himself out in a song, and he was pouring it out, for others. So right off, here he is grieving, but he's like giving hope and encouragement for someone else doing that, for going through something. So that was beautiful. And then Jeremy Camp. So Jeremy Camp had lost his first wife to cancer early on. Like, I think he knew she was diagnosed with cancer before they got married. Got married, and so it was only a year and a half later, maybe, that he lost his wife. And so the songs that he wrote after, and he, and still, I think, writing songs that comes from that, just had him walk that, but that God was good. God is so real to him in his life. And two of those, You Never Let Go by Jeremy Camp. I Still Believe, Steady Me. I just came across that one. So now these songs that I'm mentioning maybe weren't the ones that was really helped me right after, but I've heard them just recently because I looked him up to tell you about him, because there was songs of his that I loved at that time. And so I found some more. So what did I mention now? Steady Me, I Still Believe, This Too Shall Pass, Out of My Hands, and my latest one I found of his, The Story's Not Over Yet. Such good songs. Like I said, he's been there. He knows. So if you're going through something hard and you have experienced loss or just some other tragedy or just a real hard season in your life, you can hang on to these songs and know what he is saying about God is so true. He's walked that. He's walked through that pain, the anguish, the sorrow. He's questioned God. Why? Why did you allow this? Why did you allow my young wife to get cancer and to die and to lose her at such an early age? Why, and here he is praising God. And so these are ones you're going to be helpful to healing. And that is why I'm sharing this list. This list was my, 20 songs that helped me through grief and loss and to move ahead. And so that's what I'm recommending to you to get through this, because it's not easy. But when we have God in our life, he is our lifeline. But to me, these songs was my lifeline too. But through Jesus, because Jesus was in the songs, that's why. But Jesus was my lifeline and prayer. It was my lifeline. It was the first thing I could do, only thing I could do when I found out we had lost our son, that he had died in a quad accident, was prayer. I just started to do it. I prayed that our son would come to life again if it was his will, but just that peace and comfort if it was not. And I knew that God had that power. I knew that he could if it was his will, but just that, I just started pouring out and talking to him, and it was amazing that peace that I felt that only God can give. And amazing that it was like the Holy Spirit praying almost more than I was. Like my one prayer was just, and I come across, I was just constant, Lord, if there's anyone that knows us that doesn't know you, may this be their moment. And I felt that God was giving life from our son's death. And what's exciting, because even now when I get to share about these songs, it was powerful to me. I'm giving life to you. I'm giving you hope and saying, hey, there's hope. I know you're going through this tough time. I know you're suffering. I know you're crying out. I know this is a difficult road and a difficult day, but I received this hope and I'm giving it to you. So I'm giving you life. Isn't that beautiful what God does? We lost our son, but he's giving us the ability to he's giving life to someone else and to you as you listen to this right now, and through him and through the music. I am grateful for these people that sing the song and the talent they have and the ability. The music I listen to a lot, like I said, is on YouTube, so I can actually see them singing, and they're singing on stage, and the voice that they have and the ability, they're able to give that hope of God in their life. And God only knows how sincere, they truly are. But they're using their platform and their talent for him, and they're pouring out into someone's life. And I just love that. We got to be willing to put ourselves out. And so whatever it is that God has given you, pour that out to someone on whatever form that looks like. If you do writing or videos or whatever it is that God, you've walking through something, but now you're going to be able to take that God's given you and turn it around to give it to someone else that needs that hope and needs the experience that you have, that needs your story to be able to cling on to that hope, that they know that if God's got you through, God will get them through. And that's what I'm excited about. And so I'm glad I was able to share these songs with you, and I hope they've been a blessing, and you welcome to share this on with anyone else.